Hey everyone, this is Tom. Welcome back to my channel. If you'd like to win 60 minutes of one-on-one coaching with me, comment below it is done. Winners are announced every week. This video is going to be another free-flowing personal share. And it's going to be about my amazing sound healing experience. So sound healing, pretty straightforward based on the title, is the use of sound, specifically the vibrations or frequencies of those sounds, to bring about mental and emotional and spiritual healing. These sounds are generated from instruments, singing, chanting, singing bowls, etc. And I suppose from a scientific perspective, what the studies have shown is that this can release certain positive chemicals in the brain and even influence brainwave states. And from more of a spiritual perspective, the benefits proposed so that it can clear out your energetic field and create healing in those energetic centers, release emotional frequencies and traumas that are harbored within your pain body or your being, and it's going to clear your field at large and help you ascend into higher states of consciousness. So I went into this event and experience pretty casually, as in I almost forgot it was on that day, because I booked it a couple of weeks earlier. So I went in with an open mind, low expectations, and I was just kind of there to almost socialize, get to know people and experience what sound healing is all about. So the branch of sound healing that I actually partook in was known as shamanic sound healing, which basically meant it was led by a shaman and most of the sounds were generated by him in various chants that he was doing. But there were also various instruments and singing bowls, etc. So to begin the session, I sat down on my mat. It's a beautiful room, nice and cozy space. I think he had some music playing already on the background, the shaman. It was just very meditative. I saw people around me were all really into it. Like one guy laid out about 15 crystals in front of him in like a row and sat in a meditative posture. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. You've got quite a crystal collection there. I want to know what that's all about, because that's way beyond the level of familiarity with the use of crystals for me. But that was kind of inspiring at the same time to see someone so invested in this kind of practice and these kind of healing modalities. Anyway, we sat down and then we were asked to draw from a tarot deck. It was kind of a spirit animal tarot deck. That was the theme. So I tapped the cards 3 times, as I was told, and drew out one of the cards. And I pulled out a griffin. And we were asked to look at that animal in the eye and connect with it and download the symbolic meaning for ourselves, the message from this card. And so I looked at this griffin and I just saw it standing there. It had like its talons out. It was standing there with its chest high and it was looking. I had the familiarity and the warmth of kind of like a beautiful creature, like as you feel towards a dog. And it was so beautiful, and immediately it just resonated with me that the symbol of that was a majestic creature coming into its full power, turning in all of its experiences in life, all of its pains, and taking that and transmuting it into love and strength, and to move forward as that kind of completed, integrated vessel of the divine. And so I looked at this creature and it was just so beautiful. It was such a profound experience that caught me off guard, really. You know, the tears were just streaming out my face as I was looking at it. I was kind of wiping them away and the lights were still on and we still hadn't even started. I was like, my word, what's going on? Anyway, so that was nice. So we sat down that and I knew the theme was going to be about transmuting kind of any past residues of pain into alignment and into ascension. So we then lay down and then he started framing the session with like a beautiful prayer where he invoked Mother Gaia and the 4 elements of the earth. And then he invoked the divine ascended masters and light beings watching over us and asked for their love and blessings. And then he invoked the God and our higher selves and asked for our love and blessings in the session. Kind of set us all up, and I felt the energy in the room was really high vibration. At this point we're all lying down, listening to this beautiful kind of spiritual music, and then he starts to do his shamanic chanting. It's kind of this really rhythmic, kind of low-pitched chanting sounds, and they're reverberating through the room. And then there's this high-pitched, almost like alien-sounding language, like with lots of high-pitched kind of squeaking and really fast repetition of frequencies. It was actually like hearing like an alien language. It was actually really beautiful and mesmerizing. I was just honestly taken back and inspired by how someone's voice and throat could contort in this way to produce that sound. It was really beautiful. So it all of a sudden kind of sets you up that you're entranced by these sounds and you're getting pulled into like another dimension. And in between, he would also kind of do a guided meditation, helping us connect to our higher self, helping us surrender into the experience, to use these frequencies to heal and to sense our energy bodies. So we're all going deeper and deeper into this experience. And it's beautiful. It's already starting to bring up all these energies and healing for me. So as we went within and we're connecting in this state, and he continues on guiding us and continues on with this kind of rhythmic chanting, shamanic chanting, I noticed that there was some sadness immediately in my heart center, in my heart chakra. And I'm also in communication with my higher self and downloading divine insights about what this pain is about and how I can transmute it into divine love. And so I received the message that this pain was a residue from my breakup still. As some of you may know, I had a breakup after 5.5 years earlier this year. And I've got the video there if you want a bit more of that story, but it's sort of a personal share that I decided to kind of do on my channel to kind of let you know about my healing and spiritual evolution. But there were just a residue of pain. It must have been very deep because I honestly felt quite healed with it all. And so my higher self told me I have to let her go. I have to let her go. And so in this kind of really entranced, deep meditative state, and I'm feeling this palpably, this pain there, feeling this energy come up, and it's so noticeable. It's not just a bodily sensation, it's like a full state of consciousness. It's almost an entity, this energy center, how powerful it can be when you get into these spiritual states. And so I'm feeling this energy, and I'm in communication with my higher self. And I asked it, well, what do you mean by letting go? And my higher self said, to let go means to surrender to God, to the one infinite creator. And when I heard that, I had an epiphany myself. And I realized that to surrender to God is to surrender to love, which is all that exists, all that there is, divine love, radiating infinitely through all expressions of consciousness and dimensions of reality. And so when I got the message that letting go meant to surrender to God, I realized that meant surrendering to the divine love I am, and that you are too, because we're all one. And as I realized to surrender her to God, the pain to God of that breakup, to let her go, to set her free, to come into my new light and self, I realized that meant to let her go into love, and thus let her go into myself, and thus she will always be with me. And you can never really lose anything in life. It just returns to the love that you are. So that was really profound, and as I had that epiphany, it was almost like my soul exhaled out pain. And instantly into that space that opened up, just love shot through at my heart center. It just blossomed open. I saw a green light blossoming through the room. And at this point I felt bliss all through my body, and I just let go, and it felt like I was just almost on this roller coaster that was shooting up into infinite space, but it was all black. It was just nothing there. But I felt myself accelerating into infinite love. And then the shaman at this point was sometime after, as I was just enjoying and basking these feelings and listening to the sound and feeling so healed. All my other chakras were kind of opening up and flowing out energy as well. I felt all of it aligning. The shaman then asked us to focus on our heart center and imagine a portal opening. So as I did this, I was so open and primed that the visualization just it was so effortlessly there. I saw this gateway of almost like a white light open up in my heart. Again, it's all in your imagination, but imagination is consciousness. Consciousness is all there is, so it's very real. So in my mind's eye, I saw myself go into this portal within my heart. And I kind of, as I went through it, I opened up into a new dimension. I'm out and out of space, and he's kind of describing that you're in this kind of celestial realm. And I was on this sort of planet looking up at the infinite space. And then the shaman said, I want you to invoke divine beings to help you heal. And so I'm actually there in my first person point of consciousness on this planet. And I see these three beings pop up. And their love was and their light was just shining onto me, just in their pure presence. And I looked at each one of them in the eye. And one was this purple radiant being, and another one that looked like Legolas from Lord of the Rings. And another one was kind of this greenish kind of scaled, tall kind of figure. But all of them emanated love, and they were all there as almost like divine ascended masters and guides in this other dimension. So this portal had opened up in my consciousness, and they just were there to help me heal. And they held up their hands, and at this point I could see all of my energy centers, all the colors, and they beamed like white light energy into my being, into myself, into my light body, I suppose you could say. It felt like it was happening to my physical body back in the room where I was. So it was like kind of, I was in the room, and then a part of my consciousness was, not a part, almost all of it was in this otherworldly place. And I was receiving this energy, and it was going into my solar plexus chakra and just shooting through and just clearing out all this energy. It was just flowing out of me, and it was healing. It was bliss. And as I kind of was listening to Shaman's voice as he was guiding us back into the room, I looked at each one of the beings in my eyes and I professed profound love to them. In fact, the entire time I was with them, I just wanted to send as much love as I could, and I felt so weak in love compared to them. But even still, I said, I'm just going to love like you love, because I felt so inspired by their love. And I just sensed that they didn't need my love. It was almost like a toddler trying to create a piece of art to be like, here, we can sell this and help you on your mortgage, pay off the mortgage with this art I'm creating. I felt like that, just I'm trying to love, but they're just such masters in their consciousness. They're so ascended, they're so much closer to the one infinite creator in their expression and realization of their own divinity, that their capacity to love is just enormous. My capacity, at least, pales in comparison to it. But I just felt so inspired that I just radiated love back to them as much as I could. Anyway, so after that, we looked at each other in the eyes, each of these beings, and I kind of telepathically said farewell to them, and I went back through my heart chakra, and I felt myself come back into the room. And meanwhile, I guess some part of me was aware, but I was so in this scene, so vivid. It was one of the most vivid imaginable kind of experiences I've ever had, in the actual sight of it all, in the feeling of it. But I guess there was a part of me that was aware that the shaman was still chanting the entire time this was happening, and he even started playing a drum, beating a drum in this rhythmic sense that was kind of pulsating through the room, and it just felt so high frequency. And I felt so healed as we came back in the room, and he's kind of tapping the drums a bit quieter and guiding us to start waking up. And I just felt so, like such a pure vessel of love. I was so present. There were no thoughts. I was just so in the room. I was just such effortless being. Such alignment, such love was there. It was just phenomenal. Normally I'm kind of like, oh, I better talk to these people. And there's an element of social anxiety of meeting people, and that element of what other people are thinking about you, just that classic kind of mind chatter as you're in a social environment with all these people. And I did want to meet new people. I love meeting new people. So I wanted to meet new people, but in this, I was just too aligned to care in the best possible way. Literally, I could not care. I could only radiate love as I am. It was just profound. And I just wanted it to last forever, as you do. Anyway, so I just didn't even talk to anyone. I just sort of got dressed, and I was just blissing out, and I just walked out. I felt really good. And I sort of came back into the street, which is this kind of this regular street, the hustle and bustle of everyday modern world going on, cars, people walking by, shopping on this strip, and just beeping and all kinds of commotion and just general activity. And it kind of not took me out of the state, but just kind of leveled me back into just a state of quiet peace. And I kind of, thoughts started coming back, and I started moving on with my day. But something struck me with, and this is the reason I really want to share this, because this was only the beginning of this experience, really. Because what he says is that after these experiences, it's like you plant a seed, and that seed in your energy field, in your expression of consciousness, continues to activate over several days. It's like you activate something within you, and it doesn't fully awaken in the session. That potential continues to blossom and crystallize and anchor itself into your life experience, into your consciousness, after the experience of several days. This also means that all these dense emotional frequencies can come up unexpectedly, or it just means that even more powerful realizations and experiences can happen too. So kind of be wary for that. He was telling us that at the end. and just sit with any negative emotions and just allow any positive feelings. So that was great. So I went to bed and I was really profoundly surprised by the experience because of how little expectation I had. I just didn't have expectation going in. Maybe that helped. Anyway, I was sitting on the train the following day and I was going to my parents' house because the water had actually cut off in my apartment. So I was forced to go to my parents' house to stay for a night while the whole building got their water back on. So I interpreted this as a beautiful experience of divine alignment, because that's the free will that we have to interpret these events that way. I was pretty happy with it. I was like, I'll go to my parents' house, fine. So I'm sitting on the train and then I had this impulse to listen to Enya. I don't know if you're familiar with Enya from the late 1990s. To be honest, I don't really know them that much. I used to hear my parents play them when I was a child, but I just got this sense of I want to listen to Enya for some reason. So I listened to, I think the song is Wild Child, excuse me if I'm getting that wrong. And the other one is Only Time, which is I think their most popular song. Anyway, I'm on this train and I just listened to Enya, and as soon as Enya came on, I couldn't contain the bliss that just started, and love that just started coming out of my being. Was almost just so blown away by the power of it, I just had to surrender. And in that moment, I managed to survive, because tears were streaming down my face. And I got off the train and then I'm still trying to control myself because I'm in a public place. And I got off the train and then the Enya was still playing in my ears, and I came over this bridge. There's train stations there, and you kind of leave the train station, you go over this bridge. It was kind of overlooking a portion of the city and these buildings, and there was the sunset. And the crescendo of the song struck, and at that point I felt like the limits of my consciousness, if we kind of imagine it like it's an imaginary bubble, the love was so strong it just blew open my mind, quite literally. And the sense of separation between me and anything was totally gone. And all I could see was the radiance of divinity everywhere, everywhere. It was almost like the field of reality was revealed as the oneness of the field. It was just an interconnected consciousness streaming on and on and on and on and on. And the consciousness was alive to the far reaches of the horizon. Every centimeter, every cubic centimeter of it was alive with the same radiant presence of the Creator. And it's so overwhelmingly beautiful. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced in my entire life, by far. It just overpowered me, and then I just felt like an effortless vessel of divine love. Every motion, every step that I was taking was just carried by the divine presence. It was effortlessly just materializing in front of me, all of reality, seamlessly. And I was just surrendered. And I felt like I was absolutely complete. Like every desire had been fulfilled. Every hope, every dream in that moment was filled with ecstasy. It had been fulfilled by ecstasy of the knowingness of this infinity of love that we all are. And tears at this point, I look like a maniac. If I'd been, luckily it was kind of dark, but I would have looked like a maniac, just crying and laughing and just flowing in this radiant presence that was through everything. And I just felt my heart chakra just almost like throbbing with the pulse of love. It was just throbbing. This charge of energy just exploded so deeply that my heart was pulsating with this love. And then I went to my parents' house and sort of talking to them like nothing had really happened. Because I didn't even feel like sharing it at that time. I thought, just enjoy it. I'll express it in whatever way I feel at the right time. I just felt like just enjoying that experience. Now, the reason I mentioned this kind of awakening I had was because I, in my own humble opinion, my perspective, my experience, it was directly influenced by this activation in the sound healing session. It was like another wave from that session radiating through into my experience. So yeah, but it's still there, the love's still there. It's sort of more dim, it's dimmed down, and it's more of a very gentle kind of reverberating feeling in the background of my life. And I've since kind of felt, I've got more healing to do here and here and here, but I also am more empowered than ever to believe that we can heal, that we can recognize our divinity, that we can embody our true power and create lives from this place and actually live and share and express this love. That's quite literally within us and under our own noses. If more of us just share it and express these truths and these experiences and basically, encourage one another and hold each other's hands as we walk ourselves all home, as Ram Dass would say. I think I said that in another video recently. So that's why I'm sharing this today, and I hope it kind of was of interest to you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my experience, and by all means, please go with an open mind. Maybe you'll experience none of this. It's just what I experienced and my authentic interpretation of it. Maybe you even found some of it didn't resonate with you, some of it did, some of it you're skeptical, some of it you think I've just kind of embellished in my own mind. Maybe you're right. I'm open-minded to it all. I'm humbly on this journey with you. Anyway, if you like this video, please like it, please share it, leave me a comment below, and if you'd like to have one-on-one coaching with me to help you heal and manifest your best life, just check out my website below. I'd love to have a session with you.